Good morning, good evening, good night, everyone. Wherever you may be around the world, this is Dr. Lana. Welcome back to Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things on living agelessly, family caregiving, bridging generational gaps, entrepreneurship, and just life itself. How has your week been? I always want to ask that question, like, the short answer or the long answer, whichever you prefer. Maybe you can write it down and share in the comments. I don't mind long answers, by the way. What I'll talk today, remember, it's senior month, special seniors month as we call it. And so what I thought I'd focus on is something that some clients and family members have been telling me for a little bit. Aging is it's not just a matter of just thinking and wishing it all better and it'll go away. There are real things you have to deal with. Okay, I get it. And I totally empathize. Our focus is not just to uh may aging sound like a problem. Remember, if I say it once, I say it a million times. Aging is not a disease. But there are processes, and it is a process, and there are processes that go with aging. Let's be fair. So I've read several articles, and I've come up with some of 10, some of 12, some of 20, some of the most common uh, concerns of older persons. And I just wanted to address for you seniors, older people in particular, just do you identify with any of these family caregivers? Do you identify with any of these? And which one bothers you the most or concerns you the most? And if there's any, and is there anything that we can do about it? Either make it better or make it go away. Well, let's stick with make it better. So, first off the bat, and I'm certain everyone is going to say, drum roll, please, wait for it. What's one of the main concerns older people talk about? Arthritis. All the bone, all the pain in the neck and the shoulders. I can tell when the weather is coming. And the knees and the back. Everywhere seems to hurt. And it kind of does to some degree. But osteoarthritis, degeneration of the joints, actually, this is why older persons are shorter too, because the bristle or cartilage between their normally or formerly robust bones, that's now shrunk, and so then they kind of, seem to get a little shorter with age. And bones in general, as you age, that nice juicy lubrication that you have gotten up until your, let's say, mid 30s, 40s, 50s, even, is now kind of going down. Hmm. And the bones are close together, they're going to rub, and so that's created one of the major concerns that they have. Okay, all right, we're done with arthritis. I promise. Let's move on, shall we? What is another? What's another common health concern? So we're going to share 7 tonight, and we're going to talk about 3 and one particular thing on our final note. So listen out for that. 3 particular things that you can do. Think of the letter F. A good word, by the way. What would be another concern? Heart disease. Older persons, older adults have actually been, I've noticed too in recent times with older patients, they're either having, and it's not certain why, changes ever since uh, diseases have come on board, isolation, poor diet, lack of will, to be honest. There are days that just don't feel true. And that puts a strain on a heart that was probably healthy before. But an aging heart, think of it, your heart is the same age as you. So if you're 60, 70, 80, 90, your heart is the same age. But it's also been beating all day long. Every single day. work. Do you work every single day, all day long? I can guarantee you not. So, heart disease, and that comes in high blood pressure because the vessels and the arteries are tighter, so the blood has to make more force to go to the arteries. Keeping it simple. If you have high cholesterol, that can also tend to block the arteries and make you at risk for stroke or heart attack. So the fear is real, or the concern is real. We're not going to use extreme words. We're just going to acknowledge what exists. Can you identify still? Another one is, let me see what's the second one, the next most common. What surprise you is actually cancer. Who knew? I thought it was going to be memory, to be honest. I thought it was going to be them saying they have memory problems. But no, it's cancer or the big C. And we don't want to minimize that concern at all because as you age, your cells will also age. They can mutate, they can change, their function changes. They can just go rogue in an older body because normal cells that would help to stem the tide of those rogue cells, they just aren't making it. They aren't able to cope, and therefore abnormal cells tend to just take their heyday. So for females, breast, especially in our Caribbean country, I just mentioned from Barbados, as you know, breast in both men and women, prostate cancer, cervical cancer, and in some instances, several, we've had many studies, cancer of the colon. These things can spread, you know. Colon one can say is a little more controllable or easily found than the others, but people are genuinely concerned when things change. And obviously, as they're living in their own body, you can imagine many of them do not communicate. So, sometimes you may see someone withdrawn, or they may just rather talk to the doctor or rather just talk to God. Older persons have a strong faith and they just, sometimes you feel like you just want to pray it away. So let us be their eyes and ears and just be mindful of it as caregivers, as doctors, as just friends and relatives. Be mindful and hear them out. They're not complaining for complaining's sake. You reach there, let's us reach there and we can see what we're complaining for or what we're concerned about. So that's cancer. We're at number 4. Are we? Osteoarthritis, heart, big C. And now we come to dementia. Memory loss. Oh boy. And that seems to go along with not hearing well, not seeing clearly because of cataracts or glaucoma or some other condition. What else affects your vision? It's just simple nearsightedness. Because of cataract, your vision will change, and you may need glasses or you may need surgery. Pressure in your eyes goes up. If you have a chronic disease, it can affect your eyes. Diabetes definitely does. High blood pressure definitely does. Stress definitely does. Smoking definitely does. So just bear that in mind. I'm not here to preach, but those of you who smoke, you know the risks. A word to the wise is sufficient, as my granddad always said. And great granddad as well. What's another? This is 6th one. So we've kind of incorporated the memory loss. We've not spoken about dementia because that's its own zone. We've spoken about that before, but just simple things of not remembering. It can be very frustrating. Think of how you're frustrated when you can't find your keys. Imagine not being able to remember something that you just did an hour ago, and you have to write everything down. You've got to put dates on the calendar. You've got to make a note of everything, even all your appointments. Remembering to drink water, go to the bathroom, having a routine for sleep, having a routine for eating, remembering to eat, all those things can be very frustrating and concerning for an older person. And not to mention family members who may not, understandably, there are concerned, but then may not necessarily follow what you're saying. So a little empathy, both sides goes a long way. Communication, both sides goes a long way. So the sixth one is frailty. Now this kind of goes with the arthritis. So I may not call it number six. I may actually add a different one to that. And why I say frailty? Remember lockdown? Remember quarantine? Remember when older persons, especially, were told to stay indoors for your safety because it's massive danger to you outdoors? What did older persons do? Many of them told me that I just sat in my chair and went to washroom and to bed. I did not even open the door to look outside and see the sun was shining. That's not healthy. That's not a normal society. Yes, it was done for safekeeping, but it's the repercussions that we're living with now. That weaken their bones, already susceptible to weaken by age, already susceptible to degenerate as you grow older. So bones, joints, ligaments, the strength of your back, which is going to lead to the back pain. Your ability to sit up right, your just the pains. Living with chronic pain is not easy. So not being able to be active, the fear of the unknown for sure, and this is a new thing for them. Never felt frail before. Imagine, sprained my ankle about 4 times. So imagine you've never sprained your ankle before. You have no idea what that pain feels like. You've got no idea what it feels like to have been, let's say, stung by a bee, for example, and you get stung by one. How does that feel? Can you describe it to anyone? I know I'm simplifying some of these things, but really, let's be mindful that these exist. Let's just be focused on our seniors, older persons. You are valued beyond compare. But to be forewarned is to be forearmed. I'm going to just keep it real and talk. Let's have this discussion. What is your pain point? What is your main concern as you're getting older? Just mention it. Even if you just mention it to one friend, there may be something that can be done. You never know. If you mention it to no one but God, or no one at all, then there's nothing that can be done. There's no one can at least provide some sort of listening ear. So we dealt with frailty. We dealt with all these, most of the sentences. Let's do a little bit, one more. I don't know, we're at number 7 or 8 now. And this is one that was actually one of my major theses and assignments for gerontology. And it struck me how much lockdown, how much disruption has been caused by what was necessary to save lives. But it has caused a lot of isolation, loneliness. What does loneliness lead to? Well, imagine you're in a house and there's no one to talk to, no one can come to the door, no friends you know on the phone because may not be able to answer the phone. Older people don't really stay on the phone that long. The places they would want to go to: supermarket, post office, church. Those are the 3 things that people go to in the car. Older persons especially, and those were all removed. You can't even go to the beach, not even to put your feet in the sand for months. And then the situation at home might not be the best. Maybe, sadly, there are family members who may not engage in conversation. And who, when you're talking, it may seem as though they're just going on and they're being miserable. But lonely, and what does that make persons do? Withdraw even more. What does that do? It does put stress on your body, which, if you think about it, makes everything else worse. So the pain in the back, the pain in the neck, the pain in the shoulder, the health of your heart, your frailty and ability to even want to do anything, along with no one to talk to, no one to bounce ideas off, no one but yourself and these 4 walls, 6 walls, however many, and you feel as though you don't matter. And I empathize with that. And I see it so much more and more. So loneliness has can be considered a pandemic in itself. Okay, so again, place in the comments if you will. Remember to like and subscribe, share with a friend because this information is not just for dispensing medical information. It is for us to live, for you to live agelessly, to consider yourself as you are, a valid and useful member of society. There's a lot to give, a lot to share. Aches and pains, concerns, those are just, those are part of it. They might be major, but those are just a part of it. So here's what we're going to talk about now. The solution. Not solution maybe, but mitigation. So osteoarthritis, frailty, um, heart disease, all three of them can be addressed by mild exercise. Walk around the dining table. I say that all the time. Walk around the chair in your home. You know, stretch your legs up in bed. Stretch your arms up before you get out of bed. Simple things. It could be great. It would be great if you get to meet your friends and go for a walk. That'd be awesome. But suppose you can't. Suppose you can't. So that's one F. That's exercise. But that's going to link with fitness and make it fun. Do it with a friend. And one last thing, remain focused. You've done what you've done, the best that you could always have done when you were younger, when you had children to raise, when you had families to support, when you had things that were on your mind that you had to do. This is your time now. Focus on your new vision for this new time. Not that we are ignoring the pains and the aches and the loneliness and the mental concerns. We did mental issues last week. However, if it is worse than you think you cannot manage, and you may need to see a doctor, by all means do that. But at the same time, connect with your friends. Do small exercises every day. Every little bit counts. Drink your water. Drink your water. You know I was going to say that, right? You who know me, you know I was going to say that. Drink some water. Do some word puzzles. Do some word searches. And work on projects that you work on projects. It is said that as long as the person has hope, they have a joy for another day. Hope this was helpful to you. Yes, these things are common. Yes, they're part of the aging process. Is it something that you can control? That you can cure or remove? No, not necessarily. Is it something that you can manage, both from your mind and heart and then physical connection? Absolutely. So remember these four things, these three. Fun, fitness, friendship, and focus. From my heart to yours, Dr. Anna signing out. I'm saying these things could work for all of us, but be not dismayed. Let your heart not be troubled. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are.